All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we actually have a phenomenal, gifted singer and member of the iconic R&B group Oscar, and of course, Forecast as well. We have the one and only Jeffries right here live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing
Hey,
great.
everybody.
Best I can possibly be down here in Canada, just dealing with a typical summer heat wave. I gotta say, definitely I have been excited to actually interview you on the radio station airwaves. So thank you so much for just a little bit of your time here this evening.
Yes, yes, yes. Excited to do it. Outlaw Radio in the building.
But I know you're a very, very busy individual, so I'm going to dive right into this, into this broadcast. Sorry, but I want to take you back to the beginning of your amazing career this far, and I have to ask first and foremost, what originally inspired you to become a singer? Because you are such a gifted, talented individual.
Yeah, so when I was a little girl, my mom wanted to keep me, busy, right? So she had me in ballet lessons, tap dancing lessons, gymnastics, and piano lessons. And my piano teacher one day said, "Hey, you're going to sing today." And I was maybe about 9 years old. And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So she took me through, singing the ranges and doing like the exercises and stuff like that. La 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 and all of that. And I just really gravitated towards the singing. I just really enjoyed singing, and I kind of just stuck with it.
And it definitely, as we can already tell now in 2022, that it was definitely meant. You're doing it exactly what you were meant to be doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it since a kid, and been making money at it since a teenager. So I'm excited about that.
And also, in the early 90s, you actually became a member of the amazing R&B group Oscar. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners the story behind that group, and of course, how did you actually get connected with the other members of Oscar back in the day?
Oh, let me think now. Oscar. So Oscar was a group that was put together by, well, it's not put together by them, managed by Character Productions. Character was Troy Taylor and Charles Farrar, and they were these big-time producers that worked with Boyz II Men. So, we were excited to work with them. And, yeah, Oscar, it was an international group. If you remember the group Color Me Bad, we were like the female version of them, kind of, sort of. A cappella group. Yeah, and I wrote some songs for that project, and we worked with Carl Thomas back in those days. Yeah, it was a great time. New York in the early 90s, we were doing it big.
And when you mentioned a few moments ago about having the opportunity to actually work alongside Boyz II Men, I have to ask, being at such a young age, because you were probably just a young teenager at the time, what was it like just being in the studio with such a larger-than-life group like Boyz II Men?
I mean, it was phenomenal. Like I said, the 90s was the era of music, especially the early 90s, really just getting into, the hip-hop R&B culture. It was great. Like, I was in awe, but I wasn't new to being around superstars. I had sung backup for Shaka Khan when I first graduated from high school, and worked with Paul Simon from Simon and Garfunkel. So I was used to working with like major celebrities. I kind of came up with that. So it was a little bit, what I do, working with the major stars, baby.
And also as well, because I do know that you guys actually dropped a phenomenal album in 1992 by the name of Spotlight. From what you actually can recall, can you tell our listeners a bit more about this phenomenal album by Oscar?
Yeah, Spotlight was a great album. Spotlight was the title cut to the album. The Spotlight's on. The group was called Oscar, meaning like the Oscar that you win, when you get an Oscar award. So we had some wonderful promotional things that they would do when they would send us out on our tours and out on our promotional tour. We had live statues So we had women that were painted gold and standing on like a platform so that they would look like an Oscar. And that would be when we would walk into the place, like that was like part of our promotion. So yeah, Oscar, you know, it was a great group. Like I said, it was a multi-ethnic group, a white chick from Midwest, two chicks from New York, and then a Japanese girl that had just moved to New York. And so it was really a diverse group, and I loved the harmony that we created. And it was my first time going on a tour, you know, not singing background, but actually, you know, being the main group. So I loved it. You know, it was great. Like I said, all this stuff was like right out of high school. So I was just, you know, excited to be moving around.
And you also had the opportunity to actually sing the hook and verse on Akanali's single titled "Put It in Your Mouth" over there on Loud Records. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about that experience, and of course, what was it like just being able to work alongside him for that single?
Yeah, Akanali is my older bro. We grew up in the same neighborhood, and he came looking for me to sing on that song. You know, like I said, I had been working with different groups, and I had also already sang on Shaheem, the Rugged Child. He's from Wu-Tang Clan. I had sung on his first single, On and On. And I came looking for me. He said, I got a song for us, Key. You got to do it. Let's put it in your mouth. And he came up with that hook, put it in your mouth. And I was like, that's what you want me to sing? And he said, yeah, but I want you to write a verse about how you want your nana pleasured out there like that. And I came up with my verse in like 5 minutes. And I know when we went in the studio, I sung it in one take. And we had like a bunch of dudes in the studio with us. And that's actually me playing the piano in the beginning part. I played that live when we recorded it on a real piano. You know, just mic me up with the piano. Just go ahead, go for it. So, yeah, it was a great experience. And I actually own 40% of that publishing, which is great. So I'm still making money off that song because people are constantly sampling it, or, you know, what they call an interpolation, where they, you know, say the melody of the put it in your mouth. Anytime anybody sings that in a verse, a rapper or something, they got to pay us. So, you know, J. Cole had to give us money for the song, the verse he did on Flames with him and Jeremiah, and Swiss Beats had to pay us for She Ain't Got No Money in the Bank. She's just walking around acting all saint. He said it in one of his verses on there, so I own 2% of that. So, yeah, it's been great, you know. We put it in your mouth. It's kind of a, you know, underground, iconic record, and we're still getting paid from it, so it's great.
And I gotta say as well, it's definitely a phenomenal way to pay the bills as well. It definitely beats any 9 to 5 in my personal opinion.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm still having fun with it. We're about to do an all-girl version for the new millennium. About to drop that sometime later this year. So, you know, it's been fun. It's been fun.
And while we're actually on the topic of all-girl, in 1995, after Oscar parted ways, you actually became a member of the legendary female R&B group Forecast. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about that group, and of course, what actually made yourself and the rest of the ladies actually come together, because I gotta say, that's where I first discovered you, is from Forecast.
Yeah, so Forecast was my second album. Coming off the first group, Oscar, you know, I was used to doing groups. So Forecast, I actually put that group together myself. And it was just a fun situation. Like, again, working with harmonies and everything, like, that's my forte. That's what I love. I love working in the studio. I love even the mixing and editing parts of it. So, with Forecast, I mean, putting those girls together, and we rehearsed in my house, you know, and I had a lot of traffic coming through my house. Like, I used to vocal coach the group Soul for Real, and so, you know, I would have rehearsal with my group, and then I might have a session with Soul for Real, you know, vocal coaching them. So I would, you know, my chops were up, and I was just doing my thing. And Forecast is also where I got to do a lot more writing I really got into my, songwriting and even, playing keyboards on a couple of things here and there. So I was really, really excited about the Forecast project. That's where I started meeting my bad boy affiliation. That's when I met Diddy. That's when shout out to, oh God, I can't think of his name right now. This was Diddy's right-hand man, and he was like managing us. I can't think of his name right this second. Oh, jeez. But yeah, that's when I just started, running around with Bad Boy, doing a lot more writing with the girls. We got a dope publishing deal. So, I got like $80,000 publishing advance, so that was great. And I was able to get the girls some money also up front for publishing. So, learning the business and everything at the same time with Forecast. And then, touring. We were opening up for major acts. We opened up for Big Pun, who, at this time, Big Pun was bigger than Jay-Z. So Jay-Z was opening up for him, and we opened up for Big Pun. So, we were touring, going to all the colleges, and, this was the late 90s. I actually was pregnant for some of the touring and everything with my son. My son is now 24 years old, so, this has been, a journey. It's been a real fun, wonderful musical journey. And, we're just having a ball. Forecast, we did some phenomenal things. We sang the national anthem at a Knicks game. So, yeah, we've been having a ball. I love it.
And when you mentioned a few moments ago you had the opportunity to open up for the late, great Big Pun, I have to ask, did you get the opportunity to actually meet and hang out with Pun? And if so, what was one of your most fondest memories you shared with him during that tour?
So yes, of course we met him, and the thing is, Big Pun was excited to work with us because he had heard that I sang the Put It In Your Mouth record was already out by this time. So, he came through on that first night and was like, hey, I want to bring you guys out because, we're an R&B group with heels, gowns on, and stuff like that. But we were at Hampton University in Virginia and with a whole hip-hop, tour. We were the only R&B act on the tour. So he wanted to bring us out, and he thought it would be cool to, have his DJ play to Put It In Your Mouth and let people know, like, yeah, this record. So, the girl singing on this record is in this group that we're about to bring out next. And he thought that would have been a better way to bring us out so the audience would have kind of warmed up to us being an R&B group. But the girls in my group, they wasn't having it. They didn't want to do it like that. So we ended up going out there to a lot of booze. That was like my fondest memory of Big Pun. R.I.P. Big Pun. R.I.P.
And I gotta say as well, because I remember when you guys actually dropped one of the most influential R&B albums, in my personal opinion, titled Any Weather. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a little bit more about this phenomenal project. And of course, what was it like just releasing that in '98? Because I gotta say, that was definitely a groundbreaking album, in my honest opinion.
I appreciate that. Recording was great because, like I said, we're talking in the 90s in New York City, so all of the studios that we worked in, where everybody was doing their thing, Electric Lady was a big studio that we worked in, where, you could run into anybody from the Rolling Stones to Diana Ross to, anybody at this studio. We worked with some wonderful musicians, producers, engineers even, all of these people that have gone on to be like mega successful, So being an R&B group, female group, this was the era of the R&B group. So, you had In Vogue and you had, SWV and all these different groups. So it was great being able to be part of that number with the, with the girl groups, the R&B groups. So it was all about the harmonies. It was all about, the camaraderie between the ladies. You know, even the fashion of the 90s, you know, being able to, you know, whether you're coordinated or whether you're wearing the exact same thing. It was just all a fun time, you know. And like I said, writing on the song, you know, being able to get into my songwriting and make money on publishing, that was a big deal. Everybody didn't have that opportunity. Everybody didn't write or were even given the chance to be able to, you know, have their name on stuff. A lot of groups were picked and put together, and people dictated what they wanted them to do. But we put ourselves together. You know, this was our baby. We shopped ourselves. We had the pleasure to be managed by Barry Hankerson for a little minute, and our lawyer was Larry Rudolph. You know, these are major people at that time. Larry Rudolph was managing the chick that shaved her head. The white girl. I can't think of her name. I'm sorry.
Britney Spears?
But, you know who I'm talking about, the one that shaved her head.
Yeah, Britney Spears had like a huge mental breakdown.
Spears, thank you. Yes, Britney Spears. And Toni Braxton as well. So, you know, we were in some major company, you know, doing our thing. And it was great times. I miss the 90s a lot. I really do.
And one of my favorite songs off that album, when I knew I was interviewing you, I knew I had to bring up this phenomenal song. Because I actually had this Any Weather album, and I actually wore this CD out just by listening to this song back in the day. But you guys actually teamed up with Mike Geronimo on the song Miss My Lovin'. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about that collaboration. And, of course, what was it like just being able to be in the studio with Mike?
Oh, so that was great. You know, Mike Geronimo, the real down-to-earth guy, he was actually in the video also. And that was one of the songs that I wrote. I co-wrote that with the Bad Boy producers and everything. The video was dope because I was pregnant at the time, and I remember the lady that did our fashion and came up with the treatment for the video was like all around me being pregnant. And the guy, I had an actor in the video, and he was like my fiance, and we were supposed to be getting married, but he was saying he was out. He can't do it no more. And so the song Miss My Lovin', I'm saying you're going to miss my lovin', you know, because you left me, but, you know, you're going to miss me, you know, and that's kind of the whole premise. And so the video was set up all around New York, and he walks out on me in the beginning of the video, but then I believe I go into labor, and now he's trying to catch up with me and find out where I'm at, what hospital I'm in, and trying to get to me, like, before the baby's born or while the baby's born. I even had my mom in the video, which was cool. So, yeah, Miss My Lovin', it was a great song. I wrote it originally as a ballad. So this is a song I could still sit down at the piano and play. And we ended up, you know, kind of doing the version that we did with Bad Boy as a, you know, hip-hop R&B song. But it really originally was a ballad, Miss My Lovin'. I still have the original recording. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, they really let me do my thing by the time we were at Forecast. I was really, you know, getting into my songwriting. It's a beautiful thing. Any Weather was a great song. The harmonies, again, the harmonies of that group were just phenomenal. So I know what you mean. I still listen to the album a lot.
And aside from the music industry here for a moment, you also have ventured into radio as well, where you're actually the current host of the Jeffries show. I was wondering, what made you decide to start up your own radio broadcast? And of course, where can our listeners actually stream the show or listen to you live?
Yes, I got into radio in 2014, living in Atlanta, and Ray Daniels, who's a radio guy, he is from, I think, South Carolina somewhere, and he just walked up to me one day and said, "Hey, you're Kia Jeffries, you put it in your mouth, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You know, you ever thought about having your own radio show?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And he said, "Well, I think you should." And he had his own channel, online radio, and he gave me a whole 4 hours to do every day, 5 days a week. And I would go in and bring my laptop, and I had complete autonomy. I could do whatever I want to do, play whatever I wanted to play, dirty, clean, talk about whatever I wanted to talk about. And I really enjoyed it. I really did. And I enjoyed it so much that I ended up going to media school in Miami Media School. I graduated in October of 2020 while we were in quarantine. Sure did. I started school in February of that year, and of course we were in quarantine by March, the end of March in Miami, and we did the rest online. And since then I've been at different radio stations, and now I'm on Wu-Tang Radio. You have to download the app. It's called Wu World Radio or Wu-Tang. It's owned by RZA, and one of the DJs, the manager, and it's a cool station. We're actually about to get picked up by iHeartRadio now. So yeah, I'm doing a Jeffries show. I do the collab show, which I kind of show how collabs happen and just focus on a lot of collaborations from old school to now. And I show how things haven't changed, that people are still sampling old stuff, and that this music industry just comes full circle all the time. So I love radio as well. Plus, it's the opportunity to promote new music that I think people miss a lot of times. A lot of artists are putting out music all the time, but we miss it because we didn't know about it or whatever.
And I got to say as well, congratulations on actually going to school and whatnot as well. And I got to ask about the pandemic though. Like, did the pandemic actually make things very, very difficult going from in class to actually moving onto the online circuit?
Oh yeah, it was really weird and terrible. I hated that we had to go online because we had to learn how to fly a drone online. Our teacher was showing us in his backyard. It was kind of whack, But other things were born from it, where people know how to do more things online, and there's nothing wrong with this. I think it's cool, that we're able to do stuff online, but I'm still kind of a hands-on, in-your-face type of person. So, I'd rather do it face-to-face. But, we have to learn. So, the world is a crazy place right now.
But I have to ask you, what is next for yourself? Like, is there anything I happen to miss during tonight's interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on 97.7 FM this evening.
Yes, so I do media for a not-for-profit called Whole Life Healing Center, and we deal with domestic violence survivors, people that were in a domestic violence shelter. We help them find jobs and housing. We also feed the hungry and help the homeless. We go out into the parks in Atlanta and give out essential bags to the homeless with toothbrush, toothpaste, toilet paper, deodorant, soap, everything like that, essential things. And I'm really excited to be a part of this movement because I went through domestic violence myself. So I am a survivor myself. So I'm very excited to work with this not-for-profit. So I do have music coming out. I have a song called Cry No More that is, helping people with mental health issues, people that have been going through things because we are all still dealing with this pandemic, and a lot of people are not okay mentally. So this song called Cry No More is just saying, like, we don't have to cry. Things are going to get better. Trust in your higher power, trust in yourself, and know that you're not alone, and things will get better, So, yeah, I have new music dropping. Like I said, I have to Put It in Your Mouth, All Girl remix coming out, featuring a bunch of artists, up and coming, some that you know, some that you don't, but we're still keeping the lid on it until we're ready to drop it. Of course, my bro is in Atlanta now with King of Diamonds, The strip club has moved to Atlanta. Make sure if you're ever in the Atlanta area, you go on a Sunday and go to the Sunday brunch. The food is phenomenal, and the guests are phenomenal. We always have a R&B icon in the building, you know. So we've had like Sybil in the building, and Carl Thomas and Tony Terry, and oh gosh, all types of just iconic people. So that's fun when I'm in Atlanta. And moving back to Florida, back to Miami, I will be hosting Wu-Tang Wednesdays once a month in Miami, once a month in Atlanta, and probably one other city I'm about to figure out. So yeah, man, just still working, plugging away, doing what I do, dropping new music, and getting ready to go on tour. Shout out Mr. Cheeks, been doing some shows with him, and I'm having a ball, still having a ball.
And also, right before we wrap things up, this is the time in the interview quickly that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, but most of all, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and keep updated on everything Kia Jeffries if they're not already doing so.
Yes, thank you. Instagram, Kia Jeffries 1. Facebook, Kia Jeffries Mateen. Twitter, Kia Jeffries 1. I do not have a TikTok, but I will shortly, so it'll be Kia Jeffries 1 on there also. So check me out, man. I'm out here. Like I said, Wu-Tang Radio is the thing, and wholelifehealingcenter.org, so that you can donate, so that we can keep these programs going and keep on helping people. And yeah, just see me out there, man. I'm out here.
And I gotta say, Kia, thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening, and of course, years of monumental music. I've been a fan for a long time, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more of what's on the way from yourself. But for now, definitely have yourself a wonderful night, and of course, a phenomenal weekend as well. Thank you so much again for your time this evening.
Thank you as well, all right? Appreciate it so much. Outlaw Radio. Thank you.